Children, today we'll study about inheritance of one gene. Right? That means we will study inheritance of only one character at a time. And in order to study such a cross, we need to be acquainted with some of the terms like dominant trait, recessive trait, homozygous, heterozygous conditions, right? These all terms were discussed by me in the previous video, but again I am going to discuss, right? So what is meant by a dominant trait and a recessive trait? Out of the two contrasting traits, the trait which appears itself in the F1 individual is said to be dominant, and the trait which is unable to express itself in the F1 individual is said to be a recessive trait. For example, a cross is being conducted where height of the plant is under study. So one of the parent will be tall and another parent will be dwarf. Now how to know out of these two contrasting traits which is dominant, which is recessive? So we will cross a tall parent plant with a dwarf parent plant, and what we see that all the F1 individuals are tall. That simply means that tall trait is dominant over dwarf, right? So these, how to symbolize these traits? Then only we will be able to write about a cross. Always a dominant trait is expressed by a capital letter, and a recessive trait is expressed by the small letter of the same alphabet. For example, in order to express tall and dwarf traits, suppose I have taken the letter T, alphabet T, right? So for tall parent, I have to choose capital T, and for dwarf parent, I have to choose small t. Both the alphabets have to be same. It could even be T. In that case, tall parent will be denoted by capital D and dwarf parent will be denoted by small d. So both the alphabet has to be same. Capital form of the alphabet is to be used for indicating the parent with dominant trait, and the small form of alphabet is to be used for denoting the parent with the recessive trait, right? Now homozygous condition and heterozygous condition. Homo means same, hetero means different. When both the alleles are same, it is said to be homozygous condition. As you can see here, capital T, small t. This is one allele, this is another allele. We have discussed what is allele. Alleles are the forms of a gene which occupy the same locus on the homologous chromosome, right? Suppose this is a pair of homologous chromosome and here is the gene for height, then in its pair also at the same position there will be the gene for height, right? And if the one of the gene is capital T and another gene on another chromosome is again capital T, so these two forms of a gene are called as alleles, right? So what are alleles? Alleles are the paired genes which occupy the same position. So here in this case you can see the alleles are same, right? So if the alleles are same, it is said to be homozygous. And if the alleles are different like capital T or capital R small r or capital Y small y, then this is called as heterozygous condition, right? Once again, what is meant by heterozygous condition? When the alleles are different. Capital T small t or capital R small r or capital Y small I, these all are indicating heterozygous condition, right? So let us now study about a cross. Which cross? Monohybrid cross, where only one character is being considered at a time, and for example that particular character is height of the plant, right? So what will be the contrasting traits for height of the plant? One of the parent will be tall, and another parent will be dwarf. One of the parent will be considered as female. This is the symbol for female. And one of the parent will be considered as male. This is the symbol of male. Right? This is very essential. Why? Because the female parent will be emasculated. All the male parts are to be removed from the plant, which is considered to be the female parent. Right? And then flower has to be backed. So this tall or dwarf is said to be the phenotype. So what is meant by phenotype? It is the morphological expression of the individual. So morphologically, external features, what are they indicating? That one of the parent is tall and another parent is dwarf. Right? And the parents which are selected for hybridization experiments always are pure for the trait. They are always true breeding lines. That means they have to be homozygous for the trait. Right? So, the tall parent, what will be the condition of alleles? The two alleles will be capital T, capital T. Likewise, the dwarf parent, the two alleles will be same, small t, small t. Right? That means both the parents are homozygous for the trait. Why? Because they contain only one type of alleles. Right? And this is said to be genotype. So what is meant by genotype? The genotype simply is the term used to denote the genetic makeup of the organism. With the help of these symbols, we can know that whether it is homozygous or heterozygous. So in this condition, since we are starting across with the parents, and parents are always homozygous for the trait. Right? Now these parents will form gametes. Female parent will form female gamete. Male parent will also form male gamete by the process of meiosis. Right? So all the gametes produced by the female parent will be of one type. Likewise, all the gametes produced by the female parent will also be of one type. Why? Because both the alleles are same in the parents. Right? Random fusion between the two types of gametes will lead to the formation of an individual, and that individual will indicate F1 generation or first filial generation, and it is being found that all the individuals of F1 generation resemble only one of the parent. And what is the character expressed by all F1 individuals here? All are tall. So it is very easy to say that tall is the dominant trait and dwarf is the recessive trait. Right? Likewise, if we talk about all 7 pairs of characters selected by Mendel for a study, right? Taking the flower color, violet and red. So violet is dominant over, violet and white. So violet is dominant over white. Why? Because violet expresses in the F1 generation. Okay. Likewise, pod color. What are the contrasting traits? Green and yellow. So green is dominant over yellow. Right? Pod shape, inflated and constricted. Inflated is dominant over constricted. Why? Because inflated is expressed in F1 generation. Right? Seed color, yellow and green. Yellow is dominant over green. Seed shape, round and wrinkled. Round is dominant over wrinkled. Flower position, axial and terminal. Axial is dominant over terminal. Right? So how we will come to know that which trait is dominant and which one is recessive? It is very easy to say, because one which expresses itself in F1 generation is the dominant trait, and one which remains, which is unable to express itself in F1 generation, that is said to be the recessive trait. Okay. So on the basis of this monohybrid cross, though the cross is not yet complete, Mendel generalized, and his generalizations were given the status of laws of inheritance. So, according to Mendel's law of dominance, out of the 2 alleles in the hybrid, only one allele is able to express itself and prevents the expression of another allele. The allele which expresses itself in F1 hybrid is said to be dominant allele, and the allele which is unable to express itself is said to be recessive allele, right? So once again, you can have a look at this cross, tall and dwarf. Parent is homozygous for the trait. Capital T is the genotype of tall plant. Small t is the genotype of dwarf plant, right? So this produces the gametes. All the gametes are of one type. Here also all the gametes are of one type, and random fusion of gamete results into the formation of F1 individual, F1 generation, and all the F1 individuals resemble in one of the parent, and that is they all are tall. So tall is the dominant trait, dwarf is the recessive trait, right? Now in order to obtain F2 generation, F1 individuals will be allowed to undergo self-pollination, right? So one of this hybrid will act as one parent, and another of the same hybrid will act as another parent, right? Now in this case, the gametes produced by the parent will be of two different types. Why? Because the individual is hybrid and it has two different types of alleles. So 50% of the gametes will have dominant allele or the capital T, and remaining 50% of them will have the recessive allele, right? Likewise, same will be done by the another parent. Okay, now in order to show the random fusion, I have drawn a checkerboard like this. Okay, and in this checkerboard I have to draw number of boxes. So these number of boxes actually correspond to the number of gametes produced. So since each parent produces two types of gametes, so I have made two vertical columns and two horizontal columns. One side I have given the symbol of female parent, gametes produced by female parent, and another side gametes produced by the male parent, right? So on one side capital T, small t, gametes produced by the female parent. Other side capital T, small t, gametes produced by the male parent, right? Now we have to show random fusion. Random fusion, like in this box, how we will show the fusion of gametes? Fusion of this and this will be written over here. Fusion of this and this will be written over here. Likewise, fusion between the gametes, this and this will be written over here, and fusion between this gamete and this gamete will be written over here, right? So what are the possibilities of fusion? Capital T, capital T. For this box, it has to be capital T, small t. For this box, capital T, small t, and for this box, small t, small t, right? Now we have to count how many types of individuals we have got in F1 generation. So we have morphologically we have got two types of individuals, tall and dwarf, right? So this is the phenotype. Only two types of individuals we are obtaining in F1 generation, and out of these two types of individual, how many are tall? 1, 2, 3. So I have written 3 over here. And how many dwarf? Only 1. Right. So 3:1 is the ratio. Which ratio? It is phenotypic ratio. Right? Phenotypic ratio of a monohybrid cross, right? Which simply shows that 75% of the individuals show the dominant trait and 25% of the individuals show the recessive trait, right? Now if you see these individuals, you can see that this is homozygous for tallness. Now this is heterozygous for tallness, this is heterozygous for tallness, this is homozygous for dwarfness, right? That means tall parent is showing two types of genotype, capital T, capital T, capital T, small t, and recessive has only one type of genotype, that is small t, small t. How many capital T? Only one. Capital T, small t, 1 and 2. small t, only 1. So what is the ratio? This ratio is 1 is to 2 is to 1, and this is called as genotypic ratio, right? That means it is indicating that how many parents are homozygous for tallness, how many are heterozygous for tallness, and a recessive trait always is being expressed in homozygous condition, right? So this is how we complete a monohybrid cross, and always in a monohybrid cross the phenotypic ratio is 3 is to 1. This was in fact obtained by Mendel, and the genotypic ratio 1 is to 2 is to 1, right? And this type of box which has been drawn over here to show the random fusion of gametes is called as Punnett square. Why? Because this was designed by the scientist Punnett to show the possibilities of random fusion between the gametes. कितने तरीके से gametes fuse कर सकता है, क्या क्या possibility है fuse करने का, right? Though it could even be done directly, हम उसको सीधे सीधे भी कर सकते हैं, लेकिन जब हम डाईहाइब्रिड क्रॉस करेंगे तो सीधे करना थोड़ा मुश्किल होगा, तो इसीलिए it's better to do it in a systematic manner with the help of this Punnett square, right? So on the basis of this monohybrid cross, another law was proposed by the Mendel, and that was called as law of segregation. According to the law of segregation, two alleles of a gene which control a character stay together in the individual, but during gamete formation, which occurs by meiosis, the alleles of a pair separate or segregate so that each gamete contains only one of the allele of a character, right? As you can see here in this cross, two alleles are present in an individual. At the time of gamete formation, there is separation of alleles. Suppose these are the chromosomes, and the chromosomes have the genes. Suppose here is R, here is R. So at the time of gamete formation, this will go to one type of gamete, this will go to another type of gamete. So we say that the gametes, at the time of gamete separation, there is separation of alleles also, right? So that each gamete contains only one of the allele of a character. Okay, and that is why gametes are always pure. Never the gametes are hybrid. Gametes are always pure for a trait. And this law, the law of segregation, is also called as law of purity of gametes. Right? This law has been called Mendel's first law by Correns. And this is the most fundamental principle of heredity that has universal application with no exception. Later on we will study that Mendel's law of dominance has certain exception. That is not a universal law, right? But the law of segregation has universal application without any exception, right? It has no exception. Got it? So this is all for today. Here I have shown another monohybrid cross taking the character red and white. The symbol used here is RR. R is the symbol, capital R for red and small r for white, right? So you can see parents are homozygous, capital R for one parent, small r for another parent. At the time of gamete formation, there is separation of alleles. So alleles separate, right? And the gametes produced are of one type. Random fusion of gamete results in the formation of F1 generation, and all the individuals of F1 generation resemble only one parent, and that trait is said to be the dominant trait. So out of red and white, what is the dominant trait? Here it is red, right? Now in order to obtain F2 generation, we will perform self-pollination among F1 individuals, right? So this is one F1 hybrid, this is another F1 hybrid. Again there will be gamete formation, but this time both the parents will form two different types of gametes. Why? Because the parent itself is a hybrid. Random fusion of the gametes shows that two types of individuals are obtained in F2 generation, red and white, in the ratio 3:1. 75% of the individuals in F2 generation are red, they produce red flowers, and 25% of the individuals produce white flowers. So this 3:1 is the monohybrid phenotypic ratio. Okay. Likewise, if we see this red plant, then what do we see? That red plant could be homozygous for the trait or heterozygous for the trait. So another generalization could be, another conclusion could be made that a dominant trait could express itself both in homozygous condition as well as heterozygous condition. मतलब ये भी red है और ये भी red है. फर्क क्या है कि ये homozygous है, this is heterozygous. ठीक है. तो जब हम जीनोटिपिक रेशियो ढूंढते हैं, देन व्हाट डू वी सी दैट दिस जीनोटिपिक रेशियो इज 1:2:1. दैट मीन्स 25% of the dominant parent they are homozygous for the trait, 50% of the dominant parent they are heterozygous for the trait, and remaining 25% parent are recessive homozygous. Right? So this 1:2:1 is the genotypic ratio, and such type of cross is called as a monohybrid cross because here only inheritance of only one character is studied at a time. Right? On next day we'll study about dihybrid cross, but before that you must study this monohybrid cross and the different terms which we have used in this context. Okay, thank you children.